Welcome to the Hanford Dixon Show with the top dog himself. I'm Gabriella Cruz, and, we're just going to break down that frustrating loss over the weekend. Browns falling to the Seahawks 2024 final score. We're 4-3 on the season. Hanford, your initial thoughts?
Well, first of all, I'm going to tell you about my weekend.
Yeah, you know what? Why don't you do? Let's do that, because
you always ask me about my weekend.
That's probably a little positive note before we dive into
I
understand. Our frustration.
I understand why you didn't ask me. You're just so frustrated over that game yesterday. So.
I'm like, we have so much to talk about, and I know what you want to talk about.
I'm with you, but
we'll have Angry Ken here in a second. Give us a positive before that.
You know what? It's funny because yesterday I didn't really do a lot. I got ready for the game. I was all excited about the game, but I have a problem because is anyone thinking the same thing? For some reason, I thought the game started at 4:25 or 4:30 or something like that.
That's just you, dog. They said 4 the whole time.
Well, when I started watching the game, they had scored already. We were down. The score was.
Are you saying because you didn't know what time it started, that's why they got those first 2 early touchdowns on us?
Well, God dog it, something happened, and I just know I was all upset about the game, and they jumped out on us really, really early. So I was mad about that, but that's all right. I had other than that, the Browns
what
losing.
did you do yesterday?
I didn't do nothing. I just laid around. Down south they talk about a big old hog, wallowing in the mud. That's all I did yesterday. I got ready for the game, and I was all excited, because it was a 4:00 game, and I was trying to find something to do. And then when the damn thing started, I was all upset because, like I said, they jumped on us right away, and I was upset about it.
You started watching.
What about you? What did you do yesterday?
We were already in the hole. I went to Conneaut, Ohio, and enjoyed some of the outdoors because you really need to meditate after watching something like yesterday. Nothing too crazy. We're going to bring in Angry Ken, though, because I know he's got plenty to say.
Lord.
And truthfully, maybe we're going to set him up right off the jump about that play that has everyone talking on Twitter. Angry Ken, welcome. Should the Browns have run the ball on 3rd and 3, or do you like Stefanski being aggressive on the road and trying to throw for the first down?
All I got to say is I didn't think I'd have to bring the garb out this year. Looked like things were going great. The Browns had it in their hands. Of course they should not have passed the ball there. Kevin Stefanski, man, just when we think you've got it down, you call a running play for Kareem Hunt, for heaven's sake, in that situation. You should have done it, but no. You put it in the hands of our quarterback, and that guy, he played his heart out yesterday, but he was a practice squad quarterback a few weeks ago. And the worst thing that happens in that situation is an interception. And that's exactly what happened. No, you run the ball there. You take your chances. You let Kareem Hunt get it. And if you don't make it, you punt. You got this punter that's having a great game. He's one of the best punters in the conference right now. And you put it in the hands of your defense. So, no, I'm angry.
He's not the only one angry. I'm angry, too. For once, I'm on Ken's side. I agree with him 100%. I think some of these coaches sometime, and we're going to get into this throughout the show, they're too smart for their own good.
How many times have we been saying that before? All right, we're going to take a break, and we're going to hear from another Browns alumni about what he thinks coming up right after this. Welcome back to the Hanford Dixon Show. Today we are joined by Angry Ken. We just had some words from him, and we'll hear more from him. But we're also bringing on an 11-year NFL vet, Browns alumni. He spent 9 seasons with the Browns, University of Oklahoma, another Southern boy. Greg Pruitt, earning 4 Pro Bowl selections, rushing for more than 1,000 yards 3 times. He really established himself as a dominant pass-catching threat out of the backfield. We're so excited to have you, and we really want to get your game reaction as well.
What's up, King?
I agree with Hanford. Ironically, I too screwed up on the start of the game, and when I looked over, they had already scored.
What's up with you old guys now?
Well, see there, I want to tell you, Greg, I'm not the only one that thought the game started a little bit later.
But the Browns got off to a slow start. I was a little disappointed, and then we came back. And in fact, I keep saying good teams don't beat themselves. And then when you look at this game, you see where the Browns did some things that they beat themselves. They helped Seattle beat them. I'm a running back, so I'll be the first one to admit I sway to running the football. I think it's one of the most important positions on the field. We put 3 guys in yesterday, and all the guys did really well. We had a running game going, and so we seem to make the situation too difficult. You just keep it simple. There's more fumbles there's more exchanges of the ball, turnovers on passes than there are handoffs. So you got a guy like Kareem Hunt who was running well, and he's a punishing runner, and you got 3 yards, and that if you get to 3 yards, game basically is over, and he's not even on the field. Yeah, he's not even a threat to run. That's one of the problems I have. You don't even bring him as a threat. You just have. But I think Savansky, I think he favors the pass over the run. I think he always has. I mean, we have the same conversation about Nick Chubb. If Nick Chubb was there yesterday, would he have run the ball? I'm not sure. He wouldn't have tried to throw the ball with Nick Chubb on the field.
Greg, I know you agree with this. Nick Chubb, I'm glad you mentioned him because Nick Chubb showed what type of player and how smart he is. And I think this is one of your favorite plays. And you know what I'm talking about when he took the ball and he didn't score. You remember the run he had and he just downed it before he went in the end zone?
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, we seem to forget that part of it. Seattle can't beat us if they don't have the ball. So the first goal is try not to give them the ball and try to eat up as much of the clock as you can. I mean, you run the football. Even if you run it one time, maybe he don't get the 3 yards. Maybe he gets 2 yards. Now you got 4th and 1. You got another opportunity to make another decision. But to throw that ball on third and turn it over, you denied that one last chance to win this game. Plus, you gave them the field position. Plus, you didn't take any timeouts from them. And good teams are going to beat you. They didn't have to worry about the clock no more. A field goal ties the game. And that takes so much pressure off a team that they know, well, we can tie. We're not going to lose it. Now we can go after winning the football game, and that's what they did.
Let's bring Angry Ken back in here for a second. Actually, Kareem Hunt was asked about that post-game, and he said, I didn't get a chance the whole fourth quarter.
Well, first of all, I got to say I'm angry for a lot of things, but now I'm angry at one of my idols, Greg Pruitt, along with Hanford Dixon. Come on, guys. You got to get there for the start of the game, okay? You both are being fined. You're going to get a big play fine for that. But you know what?
We had rewind.
All right. But what a lot of people are forgetting, Greg, is right before we had that whole situation happen, we had another 3rd and 3. And Stefanski passed it. It was incomplete, but we got fortunate because there was a defensive call, hands to the face. You'd think he would have learned his lesson, but he didn't. So then we come back and we do the exact same thing. But let me throw this out to you guys because I wonder what your thoughts would have been on this. I'm agreeing with you, Greg. You hand it off, you give it to Kareem, plow it up there, even if you only get 2 or 3 yards. Then you immediately go to the line and you give the signal, we're not going to snap the ball, but you at least try and draw those guys off. Because you could get that cheap 5-yard penalty. We've seen guys like Aaron Rodgers and other guys do it, but we didn't. It was like that was so botched from every coaching angle you could possibly say. That's why I'm angry, Ken. What's your thoughts, Greg?
Well, I believe, like I said, you got to run the football. At least give it one try, because it's the smartest thing to do. You don't want to turn the ball over. You got a young quarterback. The most veteran position that you have on the field, in the backfield, is the running back. So you want to put in a guy that's been in that situation that don't feel the pressure the same way the rookie's feeling the pressure. But to have him throw the football, really, you would have thought a week ago, they did the RPO and the quarterback kept the ball and threw it. Should have been intercepted.
Should have been intercepted.
And we won the game. You would have thought they learned their lesson then. But we come back out and we do the same thing. I think he's more comfortable with throwing the football, regardless of whoever it is, than he is running the football, and it cost us.
Well, actually, you're exactly right, because they had a couple of guys that had their hands on that football that should have been an interception. that wasn't. But for some reason, and I don't think it's only Stefanski. I think if you guys look, it's a lot of coaches in the league right now. They want to outsmart everyone else. And I sit there sometimes and I'm like, run the damn ball. Come on, you gotta be kidding me. Just go ahead and run the ball. And all of a sudden they want to run it, they want to throw. And then when something happened, then they're sitting there with their mouth wide open.
Let me ask you.
See, I don't think you have to fool the defense all the time. My best example is Philadelphia. They have a short yardage. Ain't nobody stopped. They talk about changing the rules. So good
Speaking of changing the rules, this might be a good time to ask Greg about a little throwback question here. Tearaway jerseys. Give us the story on that. You were the tearaway phenom, being such a dominant runner, and how you took advantage of that and caused the rule change.
Well, actually, I won't tear away in college, but they tackle different in college than they do in the pros. So when I came here, they brought that. I think it was Forrest Gregg that initiated the tearaway jersey. To be honest with you, when they outlawed it, I was happy to see it go. Most of us are from Cleveland, so we know how cold days can get here on game day. And in order for that tearaway to be effective, you couldn't wear anything under it. So it was like going out in Sub-Zero in a T-shirt, and they would tear it off. I thought it should have been an infraction by the defensive player, but they got wind that it was tearaway. And when situations came up, say, for example, yesterday, this was the game. Most likely you're going to hand the ball off. They would tear my jersey before the play. I would have to leave the field, change jerseys, and come back before the play started. And that just I was tired of that. I tell people all the time, if you think that tearaway makes a difference, put one on and you'll see.
Hey, Greg, we were talking about this before the show, and we used to give Hanford a hard time because when we were kids playing in the backyard, we used to have that big old towel hanging out our pocket. Like we were Hanford, Dixon running around. But I got to say, now that we got you on the show, we used to be tearing each other's shirts before we even started so we could say we were Greg Pruitt running the football, just like you did, man. You had that ball out there and that shirt got torn away. I would have given that ball to you yesterday, Greg. I think you would have got that first down for us.
I would have wanted the ball, just like Hunt wanted the football. You talk to the lineman. Sometimes you can ask, what we going to do? We're going to pass or throw it. Those guys will tell you. They'll tell you. See, the other part about it is in a situation like that, putting all that pressure on the quarterback. If you go back and replay the play, I don't know if y'all have, Ford was open. He missed it. He missed a wide open guy.
There were some bright spots yesterday we could talk about. I mean, Kareem Hunt, he did have the touchdown. I think that's 3 in a row for him. Browns rushed for 155 yards on 40 carries. Cooper Njoku had pretty good games. And the defense was lights out in the second, third, and most of the fourth quarter.
Well,
they had a chance to make a big play where the guy jumped the pass, had it in his hand.
Yeah.
He jumped it so pretty that he knew he was going to score and forgot to secure the ball.
Cameron Mitchell.
Yep,
and you
Cameron
see,
Mitchell.
It's funny, man, but because I met this kid. Obviously, he's from Northwestern. I think we drafted him in the 5th round. We brought him here. And I was sitting down and I was talking to him, and he came up to me. I was shocked. He knew who I was. And he said, you know what number I'm wearing? I said, no, what number are you wearing? He said, number 29. And you know why I'm wearing that number. I said, okay, big dog, I understand and I get it because the top dog wore number 29. But Greg, I want to, a little bit later in the show, I'm not going to let you off without you telling one of the famous Hanford Dixon stories that you have. Look, don't be telling everybody right now. You just keep that right now in your back pocket. That's a really good story. Real quick, I want to ask you about the running backs. Obviously, we know how important Kareem Hunt is, not Kareem Hunt. What's about running back? Chubb is. We know how important Chubb is to this team. Do you think we've lost much now? Obviously, Kareem Hunt, we got Ford, we got Strong, we got those 3 guys right now. Obviously, we've lost some, but those guys are still competent, right?
Oh, yeah. I think, it's going to be hard to replace a guy like Chubb. He puts some fear in the defense, like no other back puts fear in the defense. I mean, he got hurt because the DB went down on him. He was afraid to hit him up high like he should have. And but I hope he's around. I hope when he's up and running, he's sitting in the meetings or he's around at practice, because he means a lot to the running backs. And watching film, he can help them do that. But we got a threesome. I call them three amigos now. It takes three to replace Chubb, but they're getting the job done. But so far, they did a good job. We just got to do a better job of helping them get started.
What do you mean like he should have? You know we don't want to hit you guys. I mean, with you big backs coming out the backfield, coming to see us, we don't want any part of you. We're trying to get as low as we can.
I don't want you to hit me below my knees.
Hey, Greg, thanks so much for coming on. We're going to be back with you. We want to hear some more. Right after this, we got to take one more break. Thank you so much. Welcome back to the Hanford Dixon Show with the Top Dog. I'm Gabriella Cruz, and today we are joined by Greg Pruitt. Really cool to hear his thoughts on this Browns game over the weekend.
Hey. You have to call him the king.
So I wondered about that.
I mean, you know, that's
the king.
Well, I didn't have a choice.
I have the permission. I have the license. I have the
Gab,
stature to say that.
Well, Gab, I didn't have a choice. You know, when I came in, you know, I was a rookie. I had to call him the king. So how do you not call him the king?
The king.
Okay.
I love it. Well, it took long enough for you to correct me.
Okay.
We are joined once again with the king. And actually, I've got a question for you, Greg. Are there any last-minute regular season losses that still stick with you? I think there's a famous one.
Regular season, well, playoff. Red Right 88 is the one that I got an issue with. We should have won another one of those. We should have won, but we didn't.
Take us back in time. What was that like for you?
Well, we had made the playoffs, and we were making a run. In fact, the Raiders, who a couple years later I ended up playing for, went on as a wild card, the first wild card to go on and play in the Super Bowl. And it should have been us. I mean, we were much better than the Raiders, and the Raiders was able to accomplish what they accomplished. But Red Right 88 was we were down. We were on the 13-yard line. We needed a field goal to win the game, and we decided to throw the football.
Wow.
It was intercepted, and we lost. Now we lost the game on 3 points or 4 points that we didn't need to win.
Wow, that sounds awfully familiar.
Was that Brian Sipe throwing the ball to Ozzie?
That was Brian Sipe. No, he was he was trying to throw it. Yeah. He should have thrown it to Ozzie, but he looked number 85. I can't remember his name.
Not Dave Logan.
At Dave Logan.
Okay.
Yeah. He looked at Dave Logan first when he should have went to Ozzie first. And when he came back, he came back too late. The guy that intercepted the ball, I later found out, who became a teammate of mine, couldn't catch the football. And when I ended up with the Raiders in 7-on-7, this guy could not catch the football. So I asked, was that the same guy that intercepted the ball in 30 and 38 below? So if Sight was going to throw it at somebody, I knew then he actually did throw it at the right guy.
All right. That was a playoffs run, though, you said, yeah?
That was a playoff run. Regular season.
1980?
That was 1980.
I want to say 1980. Okay. There we go.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying it was a playoff game, but you want to know a regular season game.
I just wondered. Playoffs do hurt more, don't they? Because it's when everything matters a lot.
Well, rivalries. Anytime you lose to your rivalry.
Mm-hmm.
Pittsburgh was, they're conference competitors, but we always had the in-state rivalry with the Bengals, and so I never like losing to the Bengals.
Yeah, we still don't like losing to the Bengals.
No.
Hey, we're going to bring on one of our guests. We've got JT Thompson of Montrose Auto Group giving us one of his game reactions. He comes on every week. He's always got something for us or a question for the guys.
What's up, big dog?
What's up, Top Dog?
Well, I think you and I, Greg, Gab, we're all probably feeling the same way right now, especially after watching what took place yesterday.
Yeah, it was just a very depressing loss after the way that, we fought back. We made it a good game. We were leading. It was a great game script all the way around. And then we decided to pass the ball on 3rd and 3, which, I was having flashbacks before that play. When Seattle was playing New England down at the goal line in the Super Bowl. Next thing you know, interception, ball game over, lose the Super Bowl. Luckily, yesterday was not that for us, but it felt that way. That's the difference between being 4-3 today and 5-2 today. You just run the ball. You have the number 1 rated defense, don't we, in the league?
Yes.
And here's what we do. We pass with a guy that's only started 9 games in his career, and that's what happens. It's Murphy's Law, as I've learned.
and you know what I think? I think we're all pretty much on the same page when it comes down to that. And I think we're all feeling the same way. And we're not, no way are we saying let's fire Stefanski right now.
No.
That's not what we're saying.
Nope.
But it doesn't take a rocket scientist to understand, situation football. And that's situation football. Run the damn ball down there.
It's very simplistic. You run the ball. Kareem didn't even play in that drive at all.
That's the problem that gets me. It's almost like he got a script and he goes down that script.
Right.
And he kind of loses sight of where he is in the game and how important this particular play is. Maybe call a timeout and have somebody upstairs talk about where you are and how important this play is and why you should do this or do that.
Yeah.
It's almost like they run down the script regardless of where they are in the game, and it works or it don't work.
Yep, that's exactly correct because, hey, so what? We get 1 yard, 2 yards, punt the ball. We got them pinned down inside the 20. Now you make them drive the whole length of the field.
That's exactly what Greg was just saying. You got any questions for these fellas?
Nothing today.
One thing you don't want to do on a football field when you're up 3 and a touchdown will beat you is you don't give them great field position.
No.
You do what you're supposed to do, and if it don't work, you punt the ball. That's football.
Yeah.
I agree, Greg. JT, what's going on at Montrose Auto Group?
Now we're wrapping the month up between today and tomorrow. We've got a lot of specials out there on our website right now. You can go to gomontrose.com, check out all of our brands around Northeast Ohio and Western Pennsylvania. We got a few stores out there. So go to gomontrose.com, and we got a lot of specials to move some inventory right now at the end of the month.
Ooh.
Real quick, give them a rundown where those stores are.
We've got a Kia store in Sheffield Lake. We've got a Jag Land Rover Volvo store in Brook Park or Brookland, Ohio, Parma. We got our Ford store down in Fairlawn. Out in Ashtabula, we have a Chevy GMC store and a Chrysler Jeep Dodge store. And then just over the state line in Hermitage, Pennsylvania, we got a GMC and Nissan store.
Well, I want to tell everybody when they come, ask for you, just like Gabby. When Gabby goes out there, and you don't have a problem asking for JT, do you?
Oh, no. He's the guy to go to. So be sure to check him out. Thanks so much, as always,
Absolutely.
for coming on. We really appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Wish it was better time.
Thanks, my man.
I know it. We got to take one more break. Thanks so much. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to the Hanford Dixon Show. We got the top dog, as always. Give us another bark, why don't you?
But you know what? Hold on.
Yeah,
Don't you say one thing.
Okay.
Don't you say one thing. I have to tell you this.
Okay.
Obviously, we got Greg Pruitt on, call him the king. And it's so funny, Gab, because when I was a rookie, I came in, and everyone else can get away with calling him Greg.
You were the only one who
He
had to call him
made
king?
me call him. When I dressed him, it was the king or king. That's what I had to say to him.
So, wow, Greg, you're back with us. Tell us about why you singled out Hanford, and why did he have to just call you that?
Well, when I was a rookie, we had a guard named Gene Hickerson. Gene Hickerson is a Hall of Famer for the Cleveland Point in two-a-day camp to just torture all the rookies. And so to me, I just took it upon making that a tradition of the Brown when the rookies came in. So Hanford was the leader of the group. So, if you want the rest of them to bow down, you got to get the leader.
Yes.
So I went after Hanford. I got a true story. Now, Hanford was a guy that didn't think he was a rookie.
Yeah, we want to hear these Hanford stories.
He played last year. He thought he played last year. He started. So this is just another year for him. And And you got to have that at the position that he played, because he played a lot of dangerous people. And in fact, sometimes he plays against people that might be the fastest people in the world.
World-class sprinters, yeah.
World-class. And in fact, one game, we had a guy named Johnny Lamb Jones.
Woo!
I'm from Texas. He is a legend sprinter in Texas. Hanford's not from Texas, so he didn't know that. So I had a habit of sitting on my helmet during the football game, right next to the field.
It's a true story, Gab.
And I watched the games. So in practice prior to playing the Jets, I told Hanford that, don't get me wrong, by no means am I Johnny Lamb Jones, but for 3 or 4 yards, 5 yards, I can give you a picture of how fast this guy gets off the ball. And so Hanford said he didn't need that. Johnny Lamb Jones needed some help. Okay, rookie. So I go on. And so we're in the game now. This is in the game, and I'm sitting on my helmet about 4 feet from the field. And I hear somebody go, pss, 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 pss. And I'm looking.
Gab, I'm on the field. This is live.
Finally, I follow the sound over to Hanford. Hanford is on the field in a defensive back position, finna defend Lamb Jones, trying to get my attention. And he say, King, how do I know when this guy is supposed to go deep? And I told him, I said, from what I've seen, Hanford, anytime
he wants to.
So I ain't gonna tell you what he said to that answer.
Yeah, this is a true story.
Wow.
I'm live on the field, and we're playing as a defensive back. Obviously, Greg is right. We go against world-class sprinters, and Lamb Jones was getting up on me so fast. I was like, Greg told me this guy was fast, and I was fast, but I didn't know this guy was this fast. And I'm over there on the side of Greg, sitting over there on his helmet, and I said I needed some help. I'm like, psst, psst, psst. Greg, tell me when he's going deep. Greg said, from where I see it over here, anytime that he wants to, he can go deep. I was like, oh, no. Greg King, that was good. A lot of people won't believe that story if we told that, but that's a true story.
How many times did he burn you, or did you cover him okay?
Come on now,
the good thing,
I know Greg will tell us the truth.
He couldn't catch.
Yeah.
And Lamb Jones got open, and he dropped the thing down fast.
Oh, man, you got bailed out then a couple times.
Oh, my goodness. That was a good story, King. That was a great story.
I cannot. Thanks for telling that, because now I can roast Hanford about that.
Yeah. Hey, King. Gabby was asking me. I told her to ask you about Mike Pruitt, but a lot of people thought that you and Mike Pruitt was related.
Well, that's and still people say that. People think that. In fact, when we played together and we're doing football season, it came up so much that we just said, okay, we're going to be kin. And so we went and got pictures of me and Mike Pruitt, and we were signing them like that. It was, next thing I know, I was traded, and right after that, Mike was traded. Somebody didn't like that.
No kidding.
Yeah.
King, looking back at this game yesterday, where I tell people, and I think we're lucky right now to be 4-3.
Very lucky. Very lucky.
I think we can look at this season and we could be easily 2-5, but that's all right. That's all right. We'll take where we are right now. Where do they?
For now, you gotta win. You gotta look down your schedule. A lot of players look down. I did it as a player. I looked down the schedule. I saw people we had to play. I knew in my mind what was going to be tough game, what wasn't, should be easy game based on if we had experience of playing guys in the conference. We knew Pittsburgh, we knew Cincinnati, we knew who was they before they Baltimore? Oh,
Houston Oilers. Yeah.
The Houston Oilers. And so you got ready for those games. Then you had some easy games of people outside your conference that maybe you hadn't played in a year or 2 or 3 years ago. But you kind of scratch out your wins and you scratch out your losses, and you try when you get to those games to change that by playing your best game and maybe still in a game, winning one that nobody thought you were supposed to win. Basically, that's what Seattle did. They kind of saved their season by winning a game nobody thought they could win, which was us. and we help them beat us. If good teams don't help other teams win, you can't turn the ball over. That's something you can control. You can be more careful.
Hey, what do you
You
guys
can't do
What do you guys think? How much blame should go to the defense for that final drive? Seattle went 57 yards in a minute 19 without even using a timeout, and then the
Well,
defense.
see,
Yeah.
I'm going to say those kind of things happen. I watched the last play, and it looked like it was a mix-up on the coverage. Now, one of the things that Hanford can attest to this, that the TV and when you watch the game, if you don't play and you're not aware of, you don't know what the personnel changes are.
Right.
And you don't know, sometimes personnel changes are because of an injury. Newsom went out. Newsom wasn't in the game. That changes the dynamics. These guys have a chemistry, just like on offense, you have a chemistry. Like you can look at a guy and know what he's thinking, or you can give him a signal. He knows exactly what you're going to do. But when you're in a situation when you don't know what the other guy is going to do, sometimes both guys guess wrong, and the guy ends up getting a touchdown.
And I had to
I don't blame it because I think the Browns should have, when we had the ball, should have ran the ball.
Right.
I don't think they should have had
never put him in
timeouts
that
left.
position.
Yeah, put them in that position because one of the things you do for a defense is tough on this level to be effective against a defense when they pretty much know what you're going to do. A lot of the performances on offense is being creative, catching the defense, trying to jump something or be on top of what they think something's going to happen and show their rear end, and that's how you get them. But I don't blame it on the defense. Defense plays well. They play well enough for us to win.
And you know what? I thought overall, I think they played well enough to win till the final drive. And a lot of people said, hey, the defense was gassed. They were tired. I disagree with that because the defense was pretty much off the field the majority of the game. And what I did like, Greg, I think with our offense, the way it was going, I think the majority of the time they were putting themselves in position to succeed a win on third down, because the majority of the time in that ball game they were 3rd and 4 and under going into the third down, and I think that's a position that you could put yourself in where majority of the time you're gonna win those battles.
Well, when you go into a season, you hope that you can be lucky, because that's basically what it is, that you don't get key players hurt. You're only as good as the 11 you put out there. You
Right.
You scout, you draft, you develop 11 guys on defense, and you hope that your 11 is always going to be better than the 11 guys that play against, and vice versa. And so what can change that is if a key guy in that scenario gets hurt, and then the next guy up can't play to the same level, and it's almost like a domino effect. You almost kind of panic. But this is a young team that defensively they're going to get better. Offensively, they're going to get better. We just, unfortunately, we got a top draft pick hurt on the other side, and he's not playing, and so we have to try to find a way to get through that. And yesterday that's why we can't afford. If anything, we couldn't afford to lose that game yesterday because we needed it so bad. But now it's been lost. So now we got to win a game somewhere that people don't expect us to
Hey,
win.
Greg, thank you so much for your time and your input. We got to take one more break, but one of the Browns' most established alumni, we're so happy to have you, and for roasting Hanford here, my favorite thing. Thanks so much, King Greg Pruitt.
Thank you, guys,
for coming on the
Go
Hanford
Browns.
Dixon Show.
Thanks,
Go Browns.
King.
Yep, go Browns. Thank you.
Welcome back to the Hanford Dixon Show with the top dog, Hanford Dixon. I'm Gabriella Cruz. We've been joined by Greg Pruitt giving us his insights on the Browns. And actually this week, fellas, the Browns are back home against the 1-7 Arizona Cardinals. Now, as a player, how do you bounce back after a tough loss like that in Seattle? This is, Cardinals, not an intimidating team based on their record, but it is the Josh Dobbs revenge game.
Well, I think it's tough. I mean, you have to, King, I think you agree with this. Each and every week, you have to treat every team like they're a team that could beat you. Because look at some of the things that happened this past Sunday. Some of the teams. Look, Kansas City, Denver beat Kansas City. I mean, you have to King. You tell them you have to treat them all the same, don't you?
Yeah, I think what's going for us though, this is a great time to bounce back with a team like Phoenix. Two, we're playing them at home. That's the great thing. It would be tough if we had played Seattle here at home. Maybe the outcome would be different. Personally, for me, Seattle is a tough place to play because the crowd is so loud, and they on purposely do things to make you audible because they know audibling is very difficult in a stadium. Now they was loud yesterday, but when I played and we played inside, it was unbelievable how you could not hear in the Seattle stadium. But getting back to the answer, the question is, how do you bounce back? You beat the hell out of Phoenix. You take it out on them.
Is there any concern about Josh Dobbs knowing the defense so well?
I don't think so. Obviously, when you watch, that's why you just get into film study. Teams are going to do what they do. They might what they'll do is they'll try to disguise it a little bit, but pretty much what they're going to do what they do, and I don't think that's going to be a factor at all. But Greg, I have a big question for you. Me personally, I think they handled this whole Deshaun Watson thing the wrong way. What's your thoughts on that, or do you have any thoughts on that?
Oh, I have some thoughts. I'm old school Hanford, and I know as a former player who've had injuries, who have played hurt, and so I know how you go through that protocol and how you get back on the football field. First thing they do, if I got a question mark about Watson, and I can't tell Watson how he feels, but if he's structurally sound and he got pain from some swelling, they give him something for the pain, and he's able to play. Maybe he should use a different kind of shoulder pad or tape him up different, and he can try to play that way. But, I didn't make the kind of money Watson is making, so you're putting that on. Actually, you're not putting on the line. I think his career is more important than what he's making. It could be career ending if they damage the shoulder that way. But I think a lot of guys are playing hurt. A lot of guys are playing hurt today, so they expect the same thing from him.
Well, because I can't imagine myself, Greg, when I was playing, if we had a big game or something, and coming up to you guys or any of the guys and saying, "Look, I can't go today." Obviously, if you're hurt, you're hurt. I hear that, but I also hear what you're saying. If you could play, you play. But I just think they handle that whole situation, that whole thing, the wrong way. But obviously, we just got to get him back on the field, because I think, but King, the problem is when he's played, he hasn't been the Deshaun Watson that we paid to get. We paid that $230 million for, because that 2020 Deshaun Watson, that's the guy we want.
Right. Well, I think that they made a mistake of playing him when he got hurt and didn't go back in the game, or they held him out. They probably should have held him. They should have held him out there. If they had held him out then, none of this would have happened. They'd have held him out today, and then he'd been playing this coming week, and we'd be in pretty good shape. We would have split the two games, got out of something serious.
Well, King, tell me about this AFC North. What do you see? What's the team you think is going to come out of this AFC North? Obviously, you got Cincinnati, you got Baltimore, you got
team that used to be the Cleveland Browns.
Talking about those Baltimore.
I know you hearing it from Ozzy. Who Ozzy think gonna win it all?
Those Baltimore Ravens, dog.
So they got the edge on us now. They really do. So here's the task we've created for us. We got to beat Baltimore. We got to split with them. We got to beat Pittsburgh. We got to beat Cincinnati. because if the record is not strong enough, it's going to get down to tiebreakers. It's going to be the division, then everybody wild card tiebreakers, and so we got to look at it that way. We can. I don't know if we went out. I don't even think now we can win the AFC North.
Well, King, we have to say this to you, Gab and I. We just appreciate so much you coming on the show, and the respect that I have for you is just unbelievable. I call him King, Mr. Greg Pruitt. Whenever I see him, it's just I don't think I have to tell him this. He already understand this. But Gab, we really appreciate him coming on, dude.
Yeah, thank you so much. And he had a lot of great things to say.
I'm gonna tell you how much Hanford liked me. Hanford, was you on that punt coverage team when I was with the Raiders and came in? He came down there and took me. I better fat catch every ball. My guy.
Anytime we can get that roaring laugh out of Hanford, too.
Thanks, King.
We're going to have you come up back on sometime. Thank you so much to the King, Greg Pruitt, for joining us on the Hanford Dixon Show. Welcome back to the Hanford Dixon Show with the top dog, Hanford. Browns at home versus the Cardinals. Do you think these dogs are going to show up for the dog pound? And also, why don't you tell us, tell us how you got that thing started.
Yeah, but it was really crazy. I mean, this dog thing, as we know, is just huge right now. We were at training camp one day at Lakeland Community College, and me being from down south, we didn't have the great pass rush, but we also had the 2 All-Pro cornerbacks, myself and Frank Menifeld, who I did talk to today. He called me, but and we're going to have him on the show.
Oh, perfect.
But I was thinking about how old dog chased the cat, and it was initially
because you're from Mobile, Alabama.
Mobile, Alabama. It was initially meant for the defensive line. And so we just told them, hey, what we're going to do, guys, we're going to bark at you. And when we bark at you, you guys think of that dog being that quarterback being the cat. You guys are the dogs, and just rear your ears back and go at him. Because, again, I talked about it. We had the 2 All-Pro cornerbacks, 2 All-Pro linebackers, Chip Banks and Clay Matthews. And, Gab, we started barking. And at Lakeland Community College, the fans are so close to the field that before we knew it, everybody was the dogs. The whole team was the dogs. And then what happened was, you remember Arsenio Hall and those guys, they picked it up. And, man, this thing right now, if you'd have told me the dogs were still going to be going today, I said you have lost your mind. But then what we did was we went and we tried to patent the whole thing. And by the time we went to patent,
NFL beat you to that.
beat us to it. Anything so I could tell any of these guys, anything you're thinking about doing, anything you're thinking about patent, you better do it before you come out with it. Because I'm telling you, NFL properties, they will have it right away. But those dogs right now are bigger and better. And do I think the dogs are going to show up this week? Absolutely, they're going to show up.
All right, we're going to take us out of the show real quick. Browns versus Cardinals. What do you think about this game over under 40 points?
Ooh, I think it's going to be lately people have been scoring a few points on us. I think that's nothing against the defense. I think the defense is still going to play well. I'm going to say this game, I think the Browns will win, but I think this game is going to go over the 40 points.
All right, Browns 7.5-point favorites at home this week. Will the Browns cover the 7.5?
They will cover the 7.5. Our defense is a little upset right now, a little mad by the way things going. Last 2 weeks, people have been able to score a few points. They're pretty upset. Yes, we will cover.
We're going to bounce back. Take us out with a bark, would you? Thanks for watching.